Here is a better use of absolute positioning and relative positioning. So I would like to take this text and have it go down here. So if I take a look at the PDF, what it's supposed to look like, I would like to have it over here. I want to adjust the width a little bit, and it needs to fly down here near the bottom. So this is a great time to use absolute positioning because I have set a height on this thing, and it would be problematic to pad it without affecting things. It would just be great to pin it down to the bottom right. It doesn't really matter if I move this. Actually, no, I'm not really moving it relative to where it currently is. So it currently would be up at position 0, 0. And I want it down here. I want to just really absolutely position it at the bottom right of its parent. So this is a good time to review that because I'm going to make some mistakes by accident. Here is the index, so I can remind us that we have an H1 and its parent is the header. The header is the thing that has the mountains on it. So I'm going to go to my header area and make myself a rule for H1. Header with it. So look for the H1 inside the header. That's what this rule does. And I'm going to say position absolute. Then I'm going to say that we are at the bottom right. And then we can adjust these numbers to get them looking a little bit. But first of all, let's see if we can pin it to the bottom right of that header area. Where did it go? This is classic. Look, it went to the bottom right of the browser window. That's not what I meant. And it's always at the bottom of my browser window, no matter how big the browser is. So not what I meant to do. But recall, the reason it's doing that is because it's going to look at the H1 and notice that it's position absolute. So let's go in the inspector. It's going to look at that H1, notice it's position absolute, and try to figure out those coordinates are absolute relative to what. So it will pop up to the header tag and it will see if it has a position set, and it doesn't. So then it will pop out to the body. And if it makes it to the body, it assumes we're talking about body coordinates. We're not. So we need to put a position relative on the header from the parent so that the browser then knows that this H1's bottom right is the bottom right of the header. So header, position relative. Now I'm going to put a comment here because until you've done this a bunch of times, it's easy to forget why we're doing this. So this is so the H1 position is relative to this container. Save, refresh. Haha, that's what I meant. Now if I want it to be in 2 lines like that, then we should make it smaller. How small? I don't know. It's about as big as these birds. 100 pixels, 150 pixels. Oh, I have an error right here. Something like that. It's looking pretty good. You could do it in M's as well. That would be another option. I probably want to get this a little bit over from the right-hand side, not totally at the bottom right. So you can do that using negative numbers for the right. So for example, I can say like negative 50 pixels. Oh, sorry. I'm backwards. Positive 50 pixels because we're talking about the right. So you can play with those numbers. In the actual mock-up, actually that's about right where it is. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's a little farther over. Although actually I don't know exactly how big this browser window was, so it's pretty close to where it should be. 50 pixels looks like a decent guess. In the next video, we will continue with the nav bar.